The 2025 fiscal year started back in October 2024, and honestly, the EB1 final action date for India hasn't moved much since then. Even the May Visa Bulletin didn't really bring any major updates. It's been frustrating for a lot of people, but hey, what about June? Could we finally see some real movement in the EB1 dates in June? Let's break it down. Hi, I'm Saiman Shetty, your host and the founder of Smart Green Card, and we've helped over 100 people build strong EB1A profiles purely based on their expertise and merit. And guess what? All of them have gotten approved so far. Quick disclaimer, before we begin though, I want to make sure you understand that I am not an immigration attorney. None of the members on my team are. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. For legal advice, you should always consult a licensed immigration attorney. Now, let's take a closer look at what we can expect for the June Visa Bulletin of 2025. Specifically for the EB1 India category. Now, as you already might know, predicting the exact movement is tricky because we don't have all the data upfront. Nobody really has. But there's a ton of messages we get online from our followers asking us to do some sort of an analysis based on what we know, and that's what we do here. And that's why we typically rely on historical trends to make as educated a prediction as we can, but that's all we got right now. Based on the past bulletins, there is a slight chance that we might see some movement in June. So if there's a spillover of visas into the EB1 category because of whatever reason, we could potentially see a bigger jump than expected. But it's important to keep in mind that a spillover isn't always guaranteed. This had happened in the past once when Trump stopped family-based immigration applications from abroad, and all those visa numbers kind of flowed into the EB employment-based categories in general, but also the EB1, EB2 and EB3 categories did benefit quite a bit from that with major priority date movement. So while we are hopeful that that may happen, we'll still need to stay tuned for the final updates. And if it does happen though, we could possibly see a pretty big jump in the EB1 and EB2 and EB3 numbers as well. Now, I want to quickly answer two questions that I get all the time on social media and also during our monthly Q&A webinars, which, by the way, are a great place to get your question answered live. And if you want to know the next webinar date, you should follow the Smart Green Card's Instagram page to stay updated because we keep putting the webinar dates and all other updates on there. Alright, so the first question that we get is, with so many people porting from EB2 or EB3 to EB1, will the EB1 backlog keep getting worse? Yes, there's a lot of interest in the EB1A, but the real issue is how many of those people are actually putting in the work to build a strong profile to get approved. See, EB1A is tough. It's not easy. Just showing interest in it isn't usually enough, and most of the people out there online are just people browsing. They might browse for a year or two finding the right places to get their EB1A done, but most of them do not have the tenacity to go into it aggressively and get it done. And until you get it done, EB1A isn't a field where a lot of knowledge will suddenly get you a green card. You need to put in the work, and most people, 90+% of the people out there who are interested in EB1A aren't able to put the work in, or even if they are able to put the work in, they don't have enough focus in order to get the EB1A done. And until it is done, they are not really in the queue. So if they are not in the queue, you don't have a reason to worry really, because they are not in the queue and they are not backlogging you essentially. Only a small group actually meets the criteria even after putting the work in and makes it through. Alright, so the second question here is that there has been a spike in EB1C approvals lately. Are they crowding out the EB1 category? Some say even weak cases are getting through. Is that true? Well, let's break that piece down. See, yes, EB1C is for multinational managers and executives. One key rule there is that the applicant must have worked outside the US for at least 1 year in the past 3 years for a qualifying company. And during COVID, many companies temporarily moved their employees abroad, or the employees got stuck abroad, and that opened doors for some to qualify for the EB1C when they returned. So yes, more and more people actually became eligible during that time. Now, are these EB1C cases fake really? No, not really. USCIS has very robust fraud detection systems in place, and it takes every EB1C petition very seriously. Even they conduct site visits sometimes to verify managerial roles and company structures as well. So it is true that demand for EB1C has actually gone up, and since EB1A and EB1B, even EB1C share the same visa pool, this has kind of put a little bit of pressure on EB1A, and it has temporarily probably even slowed things down for others in the EB1 category, especially for Indian-born applicants. But that doesn't mean that weak cases are flooding through without any scrutiny. Yes, some large companies are getting approvals for borderline cases out there, but that's more about strong employer documentation rather than the system being loose. So I think a lot of people should stop blaming the system for being too loose to let a lot of people in, because hey, the government knows more than us in a lot of these matters because they see the big picture all the time. And no, this trend won't last forever. It's not fair to assume that EB1A will always be stuck because of the EB1C. So we should stop finding ways to blame other categories or other people for being causes of any EB1 delays. And the bottom line here is that EB1A is still one of the best green card options out there, practically speaking. But it's meant for truly qualified individuals. If you are holding back just because you think too many people are applying, you might be missing a life-changing opportunity. And if you need help with your EB1A or O1A journey, join our free Slack community. This is a free community where you can ask all the questions that you have, and we share daily tips there as well. We answer questions and help you stay on track all the time. The link is in the description below, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you never miss an update on the EB1A process and immigration in general. And hey, if this video helped you out, share it with a friend who is also navigating their own green card journey, and I'll see you in the next one.